And we're back for our daily NBA predictions here for Monday, March 3rd, as we've got 7 games today in the National Basketball Association. We're going to predict every single one of them like we've been doing all year long here with the NBA. And folks, before we get into the predictions, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for some more daily NBA predictions here on the channel. Earlier today, we posted our college basketball best bets. We've got conference tournament play and more now with college basketball, so make sure to check out that video that is linked in the description down below, along with our UFC 313 predictions, Alex Pereira, Magomed Ankalaev in the main event. It is our first video on Greedo Plays MMA, so go show some love on that channel and on that video as well. That is linked in the description down below. Be part of Greedo Plays history by watching that video and subscribing to that channel. As now, again, we move on to our NBA predictions. Make sure, again, to subscribe with this channel as well. All right. On to the first of our 7 games today in the NBA. We start things off here in Charlotte, North Carolina for the Charlotte Hornets and the Golden State Warriors. I'm going with the Warriors to win and to decimate the Charlotte Hornets. Again, guys, the Charlotte Hornets, since tweeting, "This is a special team," heart emoji, have not won a basketball game. They somehow beat the Los Angeles Lakers, who have not lost since that Hornets game in their own right. But Charlotte somehow goes to Los Angeles and beats the Lakers. Then they lose to the Nuggets, lose to the Blazers, lose to the Kings, lose to the Warriors, lose to the Mavericks, lose to the Wizards. And they rarely play competitive basketball games. Now, we just saw this game obviously played in San Francisco. That game was won by the Golden State Warriors by 30, 40-something points. I mean, just again, Charlotte doesn't play competitive basketball. They literally called it a season after they beat the Lakers. They won their Game 7. They beat the only team they actually cared about beating. And now, again, their season is over. They are trying to purposely lose now, it feels like. It is just a tankathon here in Charlotte, North Carolina. This team is bad. Yeah, Mark Williams has been playing well. Just be honest, it's probably a matter of time before he gets injured. But Charlotte's just not that good. I don't care that they're at home. The Warriors will kill this team. I get it. Golden State's coming off a loss on the road to Philadelphia. Didn't expect that one to go down that way. But this is a get right spot for the Warriors. They should, again, win this game by 20. The line is 11.5 for the Warriors. I expect them to easily cover this against Charlotte. The Warriors, again, trying to find their way into the top 6. Again, the Clippers lost last night to the Los Angeles Lakers. I mean, told you so. But Golden State, again, 32-28, just like the Los Angeles Clippers are. So the Warriors, again, trying to find their way. I just said this to the top 6. But anyways, I think they are going to beat Charlotte, and I don't think the game's close. Miles Bridges also is questionable for this game. We'll see if he gives it a go. The Warriors are fairly healthy going into this one. They don't know if Kuminga's going to be back yet. He's still out. But Jimmy Butler's playing. Again, Curry, Draymond, and company are playing. And again, this team's only going to get better when Jonathan Kuminga reemerges into the starting lineup. Again, are the Warriors title challengers? Likely not, but they are a good team who will likely be in the postseason. I think there's a very good chance the way they're playing right now, they could probably miss out on the play-in and immediately, again, just find their way into the postseason right away. So it's going to be Golden State to win, and I think they'll cover the 11.5 points that they are favored by here on the road as well in Charlotte, North Carolina. We go on to our second game today, and we move to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania for the Philadelphia 76ers and the Portland Trail Blazers. It seems like a great day to fade Philadelphia basketball. Give me Portland on the road plus 135. Portland played a very tightly contested game yesterday against the Cleveland Cavaliers. They took the Cavs to overtime. Ultimately, though, again, Cleveland and the predicament. Evan Mobley, is that the nickname we're going with Mobley? I think it's the predicament. The Cavaliers won that basketball game. No, Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland played one of the worst first halves of basketball I've seen in a very long time. But Cleveland ended up winning that game against Portland. So good on them. The Blazers now, second half of a back-to-back, go on the road to take on the Philadelphia 76ers, who are coming off their first win in a while, obviously with that win over the Golden State Warriors on Saturday night. It was their first win in about a month, legitimately, and Quentin Grimes obviously exploded somehow, some way for 44 points. Shout out Nico Harrison for trading Quentin Grimes. Now, no, I'm not going to go after Harrison for that one. Who would have thought? I mean, and again, it's only one game out of Grimes. Who knows? It does kind of feel like the Max Christie Linsanity run's kind of over, and trust me, I'll get to Dallas later on in this video. But it's just, again, you don't know what you're going to get out of the 76ers. Again, Joel Embiid out for the season. Paul George, again, is the face of being washed up just in everything, every facet of life. PG, well, actually, no, that's not a personal attack on Paul George. I'm just saying he's washed up in basketball. I meant, like, you can apply the meme to anywhere. Anyways, Paul George is questionable. Kyle Lowry's out. I mean, just all these old heads for Philadelphia. I don't care that Quentin Grimes is playing well. I'm happy he is. Good for Philadelphia. I think Portland's still able to go on the road, though, and outpace this team. They're a fast-playing team. As we saw in the Cleveland game, they can get hot. Look at Anfernee Simons. Look at Shaden Sharp off the bench. Look at Scoot Henderson, Denny Adjiva. This team can get going. We'll see if Jeremy Grant plays tonight. Didn't play yesterday. Same with DeAndre Ayton. We'll see if they play the second half of a back-to-back. Regardless, I don't really care who plays. I think Donovan Clingan will be just fine, too, for this team. Give me the Portland Trail Blazers on the road to win. Plus money spot in Philadelphia. I think they figure it out. Give me the Blazers again in Philly. We go on to our third best bet, or third NBA prediction of the video. We go to Miami, Florida for the Miami Heat and the Washington Wizards. Second half of a back-to-back here for Miami after their tightly contested loss yesterday to the New York Knicks. Prior to that, again, back-to-back wins for this Miami team over the Atlanta Hawks and the Indiana Pacers. Again, a 4-point loss last night to the New York Knicks. A closer game than I thought it was going to be in all fairness, but now they take on their Southeastern Conference division rival foes in the Washington Wizards. I think the Wizards actually cover 8.5 points here. The Wizards are coming off a win over the Charlotte Hornets on the road, as Washington was able to win that game by 13 points. Prior to that, in a close competitive loss in at home in Washington by 8 to the Blazers, and then before that, again, an 8-point win over the Brooklyn Nets. And the way the Wizards are playing right now, they're playing probably their best ball of the season. They are now 11-48, as there is a chance, if they can keep winning some games, the Charlotte Hornets will actually have the worst record in basketball if Washington can find a way to win a couple down the stretch here, because I don't expect the Hornets, honestly, to win many games for the rest of the season. So if Washington can just find a way to win 3 more in the final 2 months of the year, they'll probably have a better record than the Charlotte Hornets, because the Hornets just suck. Anyways, I think the Wizards can cover 8.5 points here. And yes, that's even without Jordan Poole. I think they're able still to do that. They are playing much improved basketball, man. I mean, give me Marcus Smart in the starting lineup, or give me Bub Carrington in the starting lineup. Chris Middleton again, yes. It just feels weird watching him play for the Washington Wizards, but Middleton in the lineup, he's been playing solidly in that spot. I like Bilal Coulibaly. Alex Sarr, is he going to win Rookie of the Year? No, but Sarr is putting together a decent rookie season. And for Miami, what are we going to get out this team second half of a back-to-back? Who's going to play, right? Andrew Wiggins didn't play yesterday. We'll see if he plays tonight. Again, I just don't know who's going to give it a go on the second night of a back-to-back. I think the Heat are going to come out sluggish, and I think Washington is going to find a way to keep this game close. I'm not saying the Wizards are going to win. That's not nearly the pick at all. But plus 8.5, the way the Wizards have been playing, even without Jordan Poole, I think they're able to keep this game competitive with the Heat coming off the second half of a back-to-back. So the play here, again, is Washington plus 8.5 down in South Beach. We go on to our fourth prediction of the video, and we go to Memphis, Tennessee for the Memphis Grizzlies and the Atlanta Hawks. I'm taking Atlanta plus 8.5. I know, it's just a thing that, well, we always take the Atlanta Hawks. I get it, I do. But I actually think they can cover here against Memphis. They have lost back-to-back games, and Atlanta actually has lost a lot coming out of the All-Star break. I mean, again, post-All-Star break Atlanta, they lose to Orlando, lose to Detroit, beat Miami in a competitive defensive game, lose in Miami, and then lose definitely to Oklahoma City in their next one. Trae Young has kind of taken a step back somewhat scoring-wise. It's pretty clear Trae's playing through injuries. He's been doing it all year long. Trae Young is going to play this game, though. He's probable with an Achilles injury. And the rest of the team, again, it's Dyson Daniels, Ricochet, Onyeka and company. The Hawks are just so mid right now. But the thing is, they're going to be in the play-in still. The Atlanta Hawks, I believe, have been in the play-in every single year that the play-in has existed, which is kind of crazy. They're 27-33, but they are safe ultimately in the play-in. They are. Chicago's 3.5 games behind them, and Philadelphia's 5.5 games behind Atlanta. So they're good, they're going to find a way in regardless. But the Grizzlies are just better. Now, Memphis was just a bad game against San Antonio on Saturday night. They're trailing the entire game. I get it, Ja didn't play. And, shout out to Jaren Jackson Jr. with his 42 points. But again, Morant doesn't play. They're trailing the entire game against San Antonio. It's a close first quarter, but in the second, San Antonio pulls away. Again, the rest of the game, the story for the rest of that game is, can Memphis crawl their way back into it? And again, progressively, that game was getting closer and closer. They ultimately tie it very late in the fourth quarter with, 6 seconds, and then De'Aaron Fox hits a mid-range shot to win the basketball game. Losing to the San Antonio Spurs in this version of the San Antonio Spurs, again, should be considered a crime. This is horrible. I am not taking Memphis seriously at all. I've really never taken Memphis seriously as a title challenger, but losses like that are absolutely ridiculous. They just are. I get it, second half of back-to-back, they played New York the night before, but you have to beat a team like San Antonio. So with that being said, if San Antonio can keep it close with Memphis, why can't Atlanta do the same exact thing? Not even telling you the Hawks are going to win. I just think they should be able to cover. What, again, 8.5 points? That should be fine. I'm going to take Atlanta to cover that line, and we don't even know if John Morant's going to play this game. Ja is questionable with the shoulder injury tonight. And again, yes, this team has been able to survive somewhat without Ja because of the all-star caliber level play this year of Jaren Jackson Jr., but at the same time, again, hell, we saw last year what happened to this Grizzlies team when Ja wasn't playing, and I get it. They were very injured all around too. But again, this team does need Ja Morant to compete at the highest level. And I think tonight, even without Ja, we'll see if Ja plays or not. But regardless, I think Atlanta's able to cover the 8.5 points because of their scoring ability. But yes, ultimately, we do expect the Memphis Grizzlies to win it outright. But I am taking Atlanta here on the spread, plus 8.5 here in Memphis, Tennessee. We go on to our 5th game of the day, and we go to Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, for the Oklahoma City Thunder taking on the Houston Rockets. This line's crazy. Again, OKC's good. They're 49-11, but 10.5 points for them at home. They are 10.5 point favorites at home against a top 5 team in the West on a second night of a back-to-back, and Houston didn't play last night. So again, OKC's the one on a second half of a back-to-back, and they are still favored to win the game by 11 points. And we are still taking OKC. Now, Houston at full strength, I wouldn't take this. And obviously the line wouldn't be like this, obviously, if Houston was at full strength. But let's listen to all the injuries the Rockets have. Everyone's questionable except for Fred VanVleet, who's still out. But again, who is going to play? Amen Thompson, questionable with right shoulder soreness. Dylan Brooks, questionable with a right knee contusion. Alfred Şengün, questionable with a back injury. Steven Adams, questionable left ankle soreness. Tari Eason, questionable with a lower leg injury. Who the hell is going to play tonight for Houston? Not all of these guys can give it a go. I doubt it. So there are going to be some missing pieces to Houston on top of, obviously, Fred VanVleet as well. OKC second half of a back-to-back. Obviously, they got in their little scuffle with San Antonio last night. Chet didn't play last night, though. Again, the Thunder were saving him for the tougher game. And Isaiah Joe didn't play yesterday either. I'd expect both Joe and Holmgren to play tonight. It just makes OKC that much more dangerous, man. They should blow out Houston. There's a chance Houston just throws in the towel tonight. They know they can't beat OKC shorthanded. They give it a go in the first half. They're going to find themselves down by 15 going into halftime, and they just kind of say, all right, forget about this one. We'll move on to tomorrow. We'll live to fight another day. I expect OKC to destroy this basketball team. And again, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, if you need a daily reminder, is the best player in the sport. He averages 32.5 points a game. He is well on his way to win the Most Valuable Player award. I don't know how the hell NBA.com has Nikola Jokic as number 1 in their MVP ladder right now. It is ridiculous, and it's a catastrophe that's the case. That is insane. Shai's the best player in the sport, and he proves it every single night. SGA and the OKC Thunder win at home here against the Houston Rockets. Shai again leads this team in scoring, and on a second half of a back-to-back, the Thunder get it done, minus 10.5 here at home in OKC. We move on to our 6th game of the video, and we go to Dallas, Texas, as we have the Sacramento Kings going to Dallas to take on the Dallas Mavs. I like Sacramento here. I know, I've been a Kings hater for a while, but hell, I mean, you see it on the thumbnail, right? We've got Zach LaVine on the thumbnail today. I've been a Kings hater, and I get it. Domantas Sabonis is now out for at least a week with a grade 1 hamstring strain. That sucks for Sacramento. But this is still a matchup they can win, especially with the way Dallas has been playing and the injuries the Mavericks are still dealing with, right? PJ Washington has already been ruled out with an ankle injury. Caleb Martin is already ruled out as well with a hip injury. Gadford's still out, obviously. Derek Lively's still out, and Anthony Davis obviously still out for the Mavs as well. They are lacking big depth so much, and again, normally I'd say, oh, Sabonis, this is a big night for him, but no Domantas Sabonis tonight. That means Jonas Valanciunas is likely starting, but that's okay. Sacramento can still run on this team and not have to worry about any interior threat. Again, yes, the Mavs are still playing a big. It's going to be Dwight Powell. And for as, potentially 76ers Paul George, Jonas Valanciunas is, the Kings and Valanciunas should still be able to win that matchup down low. So I still like that for Sacramento. I think Valanciunas does have his way down there. But on top of that, again, I think the Kings should be able to run here on the road against the Mavericks. And again, I said it earlier, I talked about it a little bit, we can talk about it now. Is the Linsanity run over for Max Christie? I think it is. I'm just going to be honest with you guys. Again, Christie post-Luka trade, 15, 15, 23, 15, 17, 19, 16 points, okay? Leads up to February 23rd at Golden State, 2 points for Christie, 1 of 5 shooting. Lakers game, 10 points, 4 of 13 shooting. Charlotte game, 8 points, 3 of 8 shooting. Milwaukee game, 5 points, 2 of 6 shooting. He's still playing 30 minutes a night in all of these games. So, again, I like Max Christie, former Laker player. I'm always going to like Max Christie. But, again, there's a reason he was in that trade. He's no Luka, obviously. And, again, the Mavs are looking for their wins in that trade. But I do think the Linsanity run is kind of over now for Max Christie. So what does that leave the Mavericks? Obviously, Klay Thompson's been shooting the ball fairly well recently. Like, again, Klay always will, but especially now is coming off that Lakers game. Klay's been playing decently. And obviously, again, it's all Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving is the man here. There's no doubt about that. He's by far the best guy for this Dallas squad, and he is trying to keep this team afloat until an Anthony Davis return happens. But at the same time, right, Sacramento's been playing decent ball. The Kings are coming off of a win in Houston, which is huge. They've won 3 in a row now. They lost coming out the break to the Golden State Warriors, and then 3 straight wins after, right? Charlotte, Utah, Houston. The last time we took the Kings in a big game, it was the Warriors. It was a competitive game that, going in on paper, we thought it was a competitive game, but we said, you know what? I think Sacramento's able to get it done. We're doing it again, okay? They were horrible in that spot against the Warriors, but sure, Golden State's good. They've won 3 in a row since, and a huge win on the road in Houston. I think they're able to keep it going and I think they will put together back-to-back wins in Texas. Give me them to beat the Dallas Mavericks. DeRozan, Levine, Keegan Murray, these guys are getting their points. Again, yes, no Sabonis, but again, we will see an expanded role for Jonas Valanciunas. I think the Kings are okay here. I think they are. And if they lose, they're going to go immediately back on the shit list for us. But I'm going to take Sacramento to go on the road and beat Dallas. Again, it's that lack of big depth for the Mavericks that will continue to hurt them. And I said this the other day, and I'm going to say it again. Guys, I don't think the Suns are getting in the playoffs. The play-in. They're 4 games out of Dallas, who is now the 10 spot. But I do think Dallas is going to be the 10 seed now. Look at their schedule and the injuries that they have. Coming up on the schedule for Dallas, Sacramento, Milwaukee, Memphis, Phoenix, could be a huge swing game for the Suns. San Antonio, back-to-back games on the road, whatever. Houston on the road, Philly, Indiana, Detroit, Brooklyn, who cares? New York, Chicago, Orlando. I mean, they've got some tough games. They close the schedule, Clippers, Lakers. I mean, Grizz. They've got some tough games, man. I don't think the Suns are going to make that push because the Suns are just abysmal at basketball and don't play defense. But if there was a team they could make that push against, it is right here. It's the Dallas Mavericks. Obviously, again, they should get healthy soon with AD. But I'm just saying, the pathway, the door is, barely cracked open. But again, there is a small path, I still think, for the Suns. And good for the Kings. They got off the schneid. They are no longer that team we're looking at as, can Phoenix catch them? Give me Sacramento to win the game here on the road in Dallas, Texas. We go on to our final game of the night, and we go to Salt Lake City, Utah, as we've got the Utah Jazz taking on the Detroit Pistons. What a matchup here to close the night. Give me Detroit to win, but I'll take Utah to cover. Plus 10.5. Again, Detroit currently the number 6 seed in the Eastern Conference. Utah, the worst team currently in the West, 15-45, the third worst record in all of basketball. Again, only behind the Washington Wizards and the Charlotte Hornets. Detroit's been playing great basketball, sure. They have been winning games by a lot of points. But here's the thing. They are going to get Utah, who is coming off the second night of a back-to-back, but they're getting Utah with most of their guys back, though, I think. Because the Jazz never play their guys on back-to-back nights. Obviously, again, Utah is actively trying to tank. That's apparent. They want to lose as many games as possible. But they sat all their guys yesterday against the Pelicans. Why? Because they want the Pelicans to start winning games. So, again, New Orleans now at 17 wins Utah at 15. So the Pelicans are now 2 games up on the Jazz. The Jazz want a higher, they want better chances in the lottery, obviously, right? So Utah's guys should come back for this Detroit game. Now, they don't expect to win this game, but I think Utah now makes this game close. Again, Sexton didn't play yesterday. No Walker Kessler, no John Collins, no Lauri Markkanen, no Jordan Clarkson. There's a chance all those guys play, and especially, again, Collins, Kessler, and Sexton, who are all out due to load management. So I'd expect all of them to play tonight against Detroit and give the Pistons a tougher matchup. Sure, again, I definitely still expect the Pistons to go to Salt Lake City and win, but it's not going to be a walk in the park anymore. And again, Detroit's been playing great ball. They're the 6th seed in the East, right? Post the All-Star break, they have won, 5 out their last 6, obviously with the only loss being at home to the Denver Nuggets. The team's been playing good ball in the last 3 games. Cade Cunningham hasn't been the best. Obviously, Cade's still good, but Cunningham hasn't, been at his, elite level in the last 3 games. So again, Detroit's a good team, but I do think with them going on the road here in Utah with the Jazz likely playing their best guys with, with their only game of the back-to-back, I do think the Jazz are able to stay somewhat competitive. So give me the Utah Jazz here to cover the spread as home dogs. We have Utah plus 10.5. They just got to keep the game within single digits or by 10. I think Utah is going to be able to do it, but ultimately, yes, we are taking the Detroit Pistons to win the game outright, minus 450 for Detroit. So folks, that'll do it for our NBA predictions here on March 3rd. If you have not yet though, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy the video, and make sure to comment if you do disagree with any of the picks. We'll be back tomorrow again for more daily college basketball best bets and NBA predictions, and make sure to join us again over there on Greedo Plays MMA, which is linked in the description down below. Folks, thank you all for watching, and Mamba forever.